They laughed when she stepped into the restaurant. Not loudly, not openly, just enough to let her know she didn't belong. A black woman, worn sneakers, a basket of roses in her hands, surrounded by men who spoke in millions and looked at her like she was invisible. One sentence from a powerful CEO was all it took to humiliate her in front of everyone, to reduce her to nothing more than someone who shouldn't be here. Her heart pounded, shame burned her skin, and yet she stayed. Because what no one in that room knew, what no one even bothered to imagine, was that the woman they were mocking held something that could destroy or save a multi-million-dollar deal in seconds. One decision, one sentence, one voice spoken in the wrong place. Stay with this story because the person they tried to erase is about to turn the entire room upside down. And what happens next will shock everyone, including you. People like Aaliyah Brooks were meant to be invisible in places like Lakeshore Prime Bistro. That was the unspoken rule. The restaurant sat along the Chicago River, all glass walls and soft golden lighting. The kind of place where men in tailored suits discussed numbers that could buy entire neighborhoods. Crystal glasses clinked quietly. Linen napkins rested untouched. Every detail whispered wealth and exclusion. Aaliyah knew this place well. Not because she belonged there, but because she was tolerated there. She pushed open the heavy glass door, the small bell chiming above her head. Conversations didn't stop, but a few eyes flicked toward her before quickly looking away. She adjusted the basket of roses in her arms, white, red, and pale pink. Fresh, carefully wrapped. Her hands were steady, her spine straight. She wore faded jeans, clean sneakers, and a simple white blouse. Her natural curls were pulled into a neat bun. Nothing about her was careless, but nothing about her screamed welcome either. Aaliyah was 30, black, educated in selling flowers. She moved from table to table with the same quiet politeness she had perfected over years. "Good afternoon," she said softly. "Fresh roses for someone special today?" Some shook their heads without looking up. Others waved her away with a flick of the wrist, as if shooing a fly. She thanked them anyway. Always thanked them. Then she saw the table at the back. 3 men, expensive suits, confident laughter. One voice dominated the others. Loud, sharp, used to being obeyed. Ethan Cole. She recognized him instantly. You couldn't live in Chicago and not know the face of Ethan Cole, CEO of Colebridge Development, the man reshaping the skyline one luxury tower at a time. He was in his early 40s, salt and pepper hair perfectly styled, a watch on his wrist worth more than Aaliyah made in a year. She hesitated, not because she was afraid, she was used to rejection, but because something in his posture warned her. Still, work was work. Rent didn't care about instincts. Medical bills didn't wait for better days. She approached, stopping a respectful distance away, waiting for a pause in the conversation. "Excuse me, sir," she began quietly. "Would you like to see some roses?" "No!" The word cut through her sentence like a blade. Ethan didn't even look at her. Aaliyah nodded immediately. "Of course, thank you for your time." She took a step back. "Wait." She froze. Ethan finally turned, his eyes scanning her from head to toe. Not with anger, but with something colder. Disdain. "You shouldn't be in here," he said, his voice loud enough for nearby tables to hear. "This is a high-end restaurant." A soft, uncomfortable chuckle came from one of his partners. The other looked down at his plate. "I'm sorry," Aaliyah said calmly. Her heart sped up, but her voice didn't shake. "I didn't mean to disturb anyone. I'm leaving." "You should have known better," Ethan continued. "This isn't a place for street vendors bothering people who are closing million-dollar deals." He snapped his fingers toward a waiter passing by. "Hey, who let her in?" The waiter, Daniel Moore, stopped, his face tightening. "Mr. Cole, she comes in sometimes. Management—" "I don't care what she sometimes does," Ethan cut in. "Get her out, now." The room shifted, heads turned, whispers bloomed like mold. Aaliyah felt heat climb up her neck. Not anger, not yet, but humiliation, the kind that burned quietly, dangerously. "I'm already leaving," she said, meeting his eyes for the first time. Ethan had already turned back to his partners, dismissing her existence, as if she were nothing. Aaliyah turned toward the door, gripping the basket tighter. One more step and she'd be outside, swallowed again by the city that pretended not to see her. Then the doors opened. The atmosphere changed instantly. A tall man entered, dressed in a crisp white kandura, his presence commanding without effort. Two security guards followed closely behind. Conversations died mid-sentence. Chairs scraped softly as people straightened. Sheikh Omar Al-Fahd. Ethan was on his feet in seconds, his smile wide, almost eager. Sheikh Omar, what an honor! Omar shook his hand politely, his expression neutral, unreadable. He took his seat at the reserved table nearby. The guards remained standing. Aaliyah lingered near the entrance, unsure why she hadn't left yet. Something held her there. Omar's phone rang. He answered, and immediately his body stiffened. The Arabic poured out fast, sharp, strained. His free hand gestured in frustration. The call grew louder. Tension crackled in the air. Ethan leaned toward him. Everything okay? Omar ended the call abruptly, exhaling hard. No, nothing is okay. Ethan's smile faltered. What happened? My partner in Dubai is canceling the shipment, Omar said, irritation clear. Without it, the project stops. And without the project, this contract means nothing. Ethan's face drained of color. Wait, let's slow down. We can fix this. Let me talk to him. You don't speak Arabic, Omar said flatly, and he barely speaks English. My translator isn't answering, and this stupid translation app is making things worse. Ethan glanced at his partners. None of them had a solution. Aaliyah stood frozen a few feet away. She shouldn't be listening. She shouldn't be there. She'd already been humiliated enough for one afternoon, but she understood every word. Fluent Arabic, classical and Levantine. 8 years of study. Years of practice she never got paid for anymore. She swallowed. This wasn't her problem. She took a step toward the door. Omar's voice rose again, sharp with desperation. And something inside Aaliyah broke. Not loudly, not dramatically, but decisively. She turned back. Sheikh Omar, she said softly. Every head snapped toward her. Ethan stared, disbelief flickering into irritation. You're still here? I speak Arabic, Aaliyah said, looking directly at Omar. A short, incredulous laugh escaped Ethan. Of course you do, Aaliyah ignored him. I can help, she said steady, if you want. Silence. Omar studied her carefully. Then in Arabic, he asked, You truly speak it? Aaliyah answered immediately. In Arabic, calm, precise. Yes, and I understand the urgency. Please let me try. Omar's eyes widened just slightly. He raised a hand toward Ethan. Be quiet. Then he handed Aaliyah his phone. Call him. Her hands trembled, not with fear, but with the weight of the moment. She knew what was at stake. She knew how easily this could turn into another joke at her expense. But she also knew who she was. She dialed. As the call rang, the restaurant seemed to hold its breath. Aaliyah lifted her chin. And for the first time that day, she was no longer invisible. Let me ask you something. Do you believe people would treat others differently if they truly knew their story? And most importantly, do you think respect should depend on status or humanity? Answer yes or no in the comments and stay with me, because what happens next changes everything. The voice on the other end of the line was sharp, impatient, and fast. Aaliyah listened without interrupting, her eyes focused somewhere beyond the restaurant walls, as if the noise around her no longer existed. Arabic flowed through the phone. Accusations, frustration, distrust. The kind that came from past betrayal, not just a delayed payment. She let him finish. Then she spoke. Her tone was calm, respectful, and precise. Not submissive, not defensive, steady. Good afternoon. My name is Aaliyah Brooks. I'm speaking on behalf of Sheikh Omar Al-Fahd. He asked me to facilitate this conversation. There was a pause. Who are you? The man demanded in Arabic. Where is Omar? He's right here with me, Aaliyah replied. His translator is unavailable. I understand your concerns and I believe we can resolve this quickly if you allow me to explain. Across the table, Ethan Cole leaned forward, irritation tightening his jaw. What is she saying? He muttered to Mark. This is ridiculous. Sheikh Omar didn't look at him. He was watching Aaliyah. The man on the phone launched into another rapid explanation. Aliyah listened, nodding slightly, absorbing every detail. When he finished, she translated smoothly for Omar. He says the issue isn't the money itself, she explained. It's trust. He hasn't received the official confirmation document you promised. Without it, he won't release the shipment. Customs fines start tonight. Omar closed his eyes briefly, pressing 2 fingers to his temple. I made the transfer yesterday. The bank confirmed it. Aliyah relayed the message. The response came back immediately, angry but controlled. He says he's been lied to before, she translated. A former partner disappeared with millions. He can't risk that again. Ethan scoffed under his breath. This is spiraling. We need lawyers. Not enough, Omar said quietly. Ethan fell silent. Aliyah hesitated for half a second, then made a decision. She spoke again, but this time she went beyond translation. In our culture, she said gently in Arabic, honor matters as much as contracts. Sheikh Omar understands your hesitation because he's experienced loss too. He's not asking for blind trust, only a fair path forward. There was a long silence on the line. Aliyah felt every pair of eyes in the restaurant on her now. Some curious, some skeptical, some uncomfortable. Then the man responded, slower this time. Aliyah translated. He wants guarantees, 3 things. A digital copy of the transfer receipt, an official email from the bank, and a direct call with Omar's account manager. Omar exhaled. That will take hours. Aliyah paused. Then she did something no one expected. She asked a question of her own, without being told. What if we do a live video call right now, she suggested in Arabic. Sheikh Omar can show the transfer inside his banking app in real time. You can capture the screen. The official email will follow, but you'll have proof immediately. Ethan's head snapped up. What is she doing now? She's solving the problem, Omar said without looking at him. The voice on the phone hesitated. Then finally, that will work. Omar's shoulders loosened slightly. They switched to video. Aliyah stood beside Omar, translating every word, every instruction, every question. Omar's hands shook faintly as he opened the banking app. The transfer details filled the screen. Amount, date, confirmation code. The man on the other end asked for specific numbers. Aliyah guided Omar calmly, never rushing him. Screenshot taken. Verification confirmed. Then came the words everyone was waiting for. The container will be released today. Omar closed his eyes, a breath leaving him like a confession. Thank you, Aliyah added softly in Arabic. You're a man of integrity. Sheikh Omar values this partnership deeply. The man nodded. And tell him he chose the right person to speak for him. The call ended. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Omar stood. You didn't just translate, he said, looking directly at Aliyah. You protected my reputation. Aliyah shrugged lightly. I suggested a practical solution. Ethan let out a forced laugh. Well, I guess it worked out. Omar turned to him slowly. I didn't say it worked out because of you. The words landed heavy. Omar reached into his jacket and pulled out a card, writing something on the back before handing it to Aliyah. This is my personal contact, he said. I want to speak with you, properly, about a position. Aliyah's fingers tightened around the card. Thank you. Ethan stood abruptly. Sheikh Omar, with all due respect, this feels excessive. She helped, sure, but respect, Omar interrupted, his voice ice cold, is never excessive. The restaurant had gone quiet again. Omar turned back to Aliyah. Why did you help after how you were treated? She glanced briefly at Ethan, then back at Omar. Because I heard desperation in your voice, and she said, and because I could help. Simple, honest. Omar nodded slowly. Sit. A chair was brought. Aliyah sat, her basket of flowers resting on the floor beside her. You're educated, Omar said. Why are you selling flowers? Aliyah didn't flinch. Life doesn't always follow degrees, she explained, her years in translation. The company that collapsed overnight. Her mother, Ruth Brooks, sick, insulin expensive, care unpredictable, jobs that demanded travel she couldn't accept. So I chose flexibility, Aliyah finished. I chose my mother. Omar turned to Ethan. Did you hear that? Ethan said nothing. She chose dignity over prestige, Omar continued. How many people in this room would do the same? The waiter returned with a juice for Aliyah. He placed it gently, eyes apologetic. Omar leaned forward. You understand culture. You understand people. I need that. He typed quickly on his phone, then showed her the screen. An email. A 3-month consulting contract. Remote. Fair pay. Flexible hours. I saw who you are under pressure, he said. That tells me everything. Ethan's voice cracked. Sheikh Omar, this is impulsive. Omar finally looked at him fully. So was your cruelty. Silence. Aaliyah accepted the offer, on one condition. Time to arrange care for her mother. A week, Omar said. Take it. As Omar rose to leave, he stopped by Aaliyah's basket, purchasing every rose and pressing cash into her hand. For your time, he said. No, she protested. You have no idea how valuable today was, he replied. When he left, the room seemed smaller. Ethan remained standing, face flushed, eyes darting. Aaliyah met his gaze once. She said nothing. She didn't need to. As she stepped outside, sunlight hit her face. The city noise returned. Cars, voices, life. But something inside her had shifted. She wasn't invisible anymore. And somewhere behind her, Ethan Cole realized, too late, that power doesn't always sit where you expect it to. 6 days later, Aaliyah Brooks still woke up wondering if everything had been a dream. The business card from Sheikh Omar Al Fahd sat on her small kitchen table, right beside her mother's insulin box. She had read the contract email so many times she could almost recite it by heart. 3 months. Consulting translator. Flexible schedule. Remote work. Real pay. Respect. Real possibility. Across the room, Ruth Brooks sat on the couch, carefully testing her blood sugar. Her hands shook slightly, not from weakness, but from years of habit. You're staring again, Ruth said gently. Aaliyah smiled. I just still can't believe it. Ruth looked up, her eyes soft but proud. Baby, I've believed in you longer than you've believed in yourself. That night, Ruth cried. Not from fear, not from pain, but from relief. For the first time in years, her daughter wasn't surviving. She was stepping forward. On Monday morning, Aaliyah stood in front of her bedroom mirror. She wore tailored black slacks, a white blouse, and a navy blazer she had bought years ago from a thrift store, hoping one day it would matter again. Her hair was pulled back neatly, her face calm but focused. She looked like the professional she had always been. Long before anyone cared to see it, the elevator doors opened on the 18th floor of Omar Al Fahd Holdings, overlooking Michigan Avenue. Glass walls, marble floors, quiet confidence in every detail. The receptionist smiled warmly. Ms. Brooks, welcome. Sheikh Omar is expecting you. No hesitation, no suspicion, no question of whether she belonged. That alone nearly brought tears to her eyes. Inside the office, Omar stood as she entered. Aaliyah, he said with genuine warmth, I'm glad you're here. So am I, she replied honestly. Their first meeting was simple, clear expectations, mutual respect. He introduced her to the team, 6 professionals, diverse, attentive, curious. No one looked at her like she was a surprise. They looked at her like she was an asset. Later that afternoon, as promised, they joined a video call with Dubai. The same partner from the restaurant appeared on screen. So this is the woman who saved us, he said, smiling. Aaliyah returned the smile. I'm glad we could work it out. You did more than that, he replied. You reminded us what partnership actually means. When the call ended, Omar nodded slowly. You don't just translate word, he said. You translate trust. 2 weeks passed. Aaliyah adjusted quickly. Meetings, contracts, cultural guidance, late-night calls across time zones. She was challenged, but she was seen. Then one afternoon, Omar stepped into her office, closing the door behind him. I need to tell you something, he said. Aaliyah's stomach tightened. Okay. I canceled the contract with Ethan Cole. She froze. Because of me? No, Omar said firmly. Because of him. He explained everything. Investigations, delayed projects, labor complaints, corners cut, patterns that mirrored the way Ethan had treated her. Dismissive, careless, entitled. How someone treats those they think are powerless, Omar said, is how they run everything. Aaliyah felt a strange mix of emotions. Not triumph, not joy, just quiet understanding. He called my office, Omar added. More than once. Not to apologize, to negotiate. That tells you everything, Aaliyah said softly. Omar nodded. 3 days later, as Aaliyah walked through the underground parking garage after work, she saw a familiar figure leaning against a dark sedan. Ethan Cole. Her first instinct was to turn back, but something in his posture stopped her. He looked smaller, not powerful, not confident, just tired. Aaliyah, he said when he saw her, I was hoping you'd talk to me. She crossed her arms, keeping distance. You have 5 minutes. He swallowed. I lost everything. That contract was holding my company together. She said nothing. My daughter asked me why I was upset, he continued. She's 12. She's black. And when she asked what happened, I realized I couldn't explain it without admitting the truth. He looked up, his eyes wet. I treated you the way I would never allow anyone to treat her. Silence stretched between them. I'm not asking for forgiveness, Ethan said. I just needed you to know. I learned, the hard way. Aaliyah studied him carefully. I forgive you, she said finally. Not because you lost something, but because I don't want to carry what you gave me that day. Relief broke across his face. Thank you, he whispered. She nodded once and walked away. The chapter closed. 3 months later, Aaliyah sat in a conference room overlooking the city. Omar entered with 2 board members. Aaliyah, he said, smiling, we're not extending your contract. Her heart dropped. We're making it permanent. The offer was generous. Full benefits, health care for her mother, a new title, International Relations Consultant. Aaliyah covered her mouth, tears spilling freely. Yes, she said. Yes, of course. That evening, she knelt in front of her mother, holding the contract with shaking hands. We're okay now, she said. We're really okay. Ruth hugged her tightly. You always were. The world just took too long to catch up. The following Saturday, Aaliyah returned to Lakeshore Prime Bistro. This time, she wasn't selling flowers. She wore a simple, elegant dress. She ordered the most expensive dish on the menu, not out of spite, but celebration. The same waiter recognized her immediately. You're the flower lady, he said, smiling wide. I am, she replied, and today, I'm the customer. Before leaving, Aaliyah stopped by the entrance, where a young black woman stood nervously with a basket of roses. I'll take all of them, Aaliyah said. All? The girl asked, shocked. All, Aaliyah repeated, paying double. She leaned in and whispered, never let anyone make you feel small for working honestly. Then she walked inside, handing a rose to every woman she passed. The last rose she placed on Ethan's old table. No note, no bitterness, just a reminder. Outside, the sun dipped low over Chicago. Aaliyah breathed deeply. She hadn't won by destroying someone else. She had won by staying true to herself. And that changed everything. Now let me ask you something. From the heart, how did this story make you feel? Do you think discrimination still hides behind power and status today? If this story moved you, comment 111 below so I know you watched until the end. Tell me which country you're watching from, and if you believe stories like this matter, please share this video so more people can see it. Your voice matters.